right, if you're just tuning in, if you're just getting audio, high energy today. Okay, before we went live, Rocker told me that I look like David Burns from Talking Head.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
How did I get here? This is not my dead dog.
Who turned this stream on today?
You were able to pull out that name, David Burns from Talking Heads. I would have
He's a legend, dude.
I would have never. I would have been like that one band, the Talking Band. Oh, what was it? And you just pull out everything about it.
Wherever Yosef goes, John Wick's coming for him.
How big? Can you stand up and show how big that fucking? This thing is the biggest coat I've ever seen. It's not a trench coat, but it looks like it.
John Wick's coming for him.
Dang.
Yeah, we got big clothes here at Mega64.
Yeah.
It's just a normal jacket for me.
Yeah.
I grabbed I just finished watching John Wick like 10 minutes ago for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And what did I do? I ran into our costume closet and I grabbed the closest thing I could cobble together to a John Wick costume here. He looked so good in the suit and tie.
Yeah.
He rocks the gun like Christian Bale from Equilibrium.
No, you were right the first time, Justin.
Justin Bale.
Justin Long.
Justin Roiland.
From the Apple commercial with his gun.
Please, all right. We're gonna he's never fired a gun as far as I know. Alec Baldwin, maybe.
Oh shit. Oh,
topical.
No. Oh no. Oh yikes.
By the way, did you hear the news?
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin was charged with manslaughter.
Was he really?
He was.
Wow.
As of today. So the only reason I'm bringing this up is because we made all kinds of funny. Well, I'm just gonna move on. If you went to our live tour, you probably have some laughs. Just hearing that news story. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to John Wick.
Okay.
Yes.
Forget him.
So I had never seen this movie. Derek has never seen this movie. Rocco, you have. Have you seen the other ones, Rocco? 2 and 3?
I've seen them all.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He's a John Wick fanatic over here.
Yeah.
You're like a Wick head.
Yes.
You're a Wiccan.
The Wicker Man.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a Wiccan.
Mm-hmm.
Practice Wicca.
Yeah. I wanted to revisit this movie because I will say I never had more people encourage me to see a movie than this because, I love The Matrix. I'm a big Matrix nut.
Yeah.
I'm a big Keanu head, whatever. But I never got around to it. So I finally did. And I had a lot of different thoughts on it.
On this movie.
Yeah. Ended up watching them more. Ended up watching the rest of them. And I think I liked them more as they went on. I don't know if that's a commonly held
with the John Wick
thought
movies?
on it. Yeah.
Oh.
But I didn't know how I felt about this one. So I wanted to revisit it.
Wow. Okay. Well, I will say that I, again, haven't seen it. I watched it with Jenny and Beckett. The next night popped in John Wick 2.
Ooh.
The night after that popped in John Wick 3. Now, to be told, I fell asleep during that one, so I haven't finished that one.
Okay.
Okay.
But I've seen 2.5 of them at this point.
2.5 Johns.
2.5 John Wicks. I've seen it.
John Wick 4 is coming out soon.
Right.
Are you excited for that one?
I think Jenny and Beckett and I will go to the theater and watch it.
Nice.
Might as well.
I have never seen a John Wick movie. It's always been on my watch list, and I've heard great things about the series. I think I'm going to continue down the series. But yeah, I literally just finished watching the first one 10 minutes ago.
What
for the first time ever. What do I think about it? That's what I think about it.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You did that fast.
This movie pops.
I think that for me, this movie, there's a lot to it. I guess we can go into the plot. But for me, there was like this subtle world building that they don't just tell you about and shove it down your throat. It's already assumed that these gold coins mean something.
Yeah.
Or what the rules of this hotel. All these things that they didn't go to great lengths to be there's always the even the Matrix does this, but Neo is being introduced to what the Matrix is, but so is the audience. He's the audience, And I don't think this one really did that very, very much. And I kind of enjoyed the fact that they just threw us in this as if we already knew.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway from right off the bat,
I think that was why I was a little more into the second one though, is I as a fan, when I love when movies have a fucking universe and lore, and I did feel like the second one was like a lot more about going down the rabbit hole on like what he's part of and things like that. So I think that's why in my head I didn't remember this one as fondly, because I liked that they did that more in the second one. But we're talking about the sequels. We need to focus on the first one.
No, but you can still talk about the whole thing.
But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the sequels. Maybe we'll do a follow-up movie club and talk about those ones later. Out the gate for me, watching this movie, you never see Keanu Reeves shed a tear in any of his films. And this movie starts with him crying, weeping. I was almost going to say weeping like a baby.
Sure.
But I'm not going to say that because he has his character has such real motivation. He's lost his wife. He's grieving. And I was actually struck by, this was actually shocking to me, the dramatic weight that Keanu Reeves brought to John Wick. I didn't expect him to have more emotion in this than the entire Matrix trilogy.
Yeah.
For real, like I can't remember Neo crying in the Matrix.
It's funny because I was going to correct you and say, no, he's definitely cried before. There is one scene he does, and then I realized, oh yeah, sorry, I'm going to spoil the Matrix trilogy, the initial Matrix trilogy. It is when
Go ahead.
When Trinity is dying at the end of the third movie.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, Derek, what are you talking about? He cries there. Oh, that's when his eyes are gone. So
yeah.
You never saw it.
It's true.
Oh yeah.
So this is the first crying scene that I've seen with his eyes intact. So you were
the chat saying the movie The
mostly
Lake
right.
House, but
Those
I
were
didn't see
mine to
that.
tears. Now,
You never saw The Lake
I've
House?
never
No.
seen The Lake House, and I know that in the early 90s, Keanu Reeves was like a dramatic actor. This was before he made action movies. I don't remember the name of the movie, but I think he made a movie where he was like a young college student. It's very dramatic. He played the main character.
We just watched that one in movie club with the surfer one.
That's Point Break.
Point Break.
And that's an action movie, but
Sure.
he does, act in that movie. He was in Dracula, Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
Yeah, It's
was?
been a long time since I watched that.
I was going
never
to say
saw
he's the
that.
main character in that, but he's not Dracula.
I
But
didn't know he was in that movie.
he's like the husband of Mina.
He's in Constantine.
Yeah, he's also great in Constantine. Yeah. A very, very dramatic.
Very
role as
dramatic.
well. Yeah, but then you know him from like Speed, The
Yeah, Speed.
Matrix, Chain Reaction. Who remembers that
I
movie?
loved that movie as a kid.
I don't think I ever saw
It's
that.
it's a shitty action.
It's a
movie.
shitty. Yeah, I'm sure it's bad.
Yeah.
But I watched the movie Chain Reaction, and for some reason, the movie Eraser, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I remember that.
so many times. That was like a double feature for me all the time. Those two movies.
I don't expect drama. I don't expect emotion from Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Nothing against the guy. I love him.
No.
Bill and Ted, awesome.
Love
When-
Matrix, rad.
When he's right for the part,
Speed,
he's fucking right for the part. You know what I mean? He might not be sometimes, but there's certain roles that he's just great for.
So this movie starts, and I'm immediately identifying with Keanu, John, Baba Yaga, whatever you want to call him in this movie. Surprising. And then, from that point on, after the first 10 minutes, it's just like action movie, gun circus.
What's funny is that I
It's an
knew
official genre.
I knew what kickstarted this movie was a dog dying. I knew that.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Well,
for
that's what
people out
this
there.
show is, spoilers. So yes. When I first saw the dog, I was like, fuck! It's like the cutest fucking dog I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't find some ugly dog.
Don't kill a cute dog.
Don't kill a cute dog.
Hey, so this is a rare occasion where we're doing a live movie club. So we could check in with the chat. My gun jammed. All right. And Dragul says his acting is actually pretty cringe in the first 10 minutes of this movie. Not gonna lie. It's Keanu Reeves. He's not like gonna win an Oscar for this movie. But he's actually, bringing some drama to it, which is just, I wasn't expecting that. I feel like you said, Sean, I knew that the kickoff point to this movie, the inciting incident, if you will, was his dog dying. I wasn't sure how they were going to portray that. So I actually think that this movie is so successful because of those first 10 minutes. If they're cringe, whether they're cringy or not, whether the acting is good or not, you're there. If they didn't have those emotional scenes, this movie would not work at all.
Yeah,
it wouldn't. And also, like, this is the only time you ever see him as this other version of himself. Like, you know, the rest of the franchise is he's back in this world, but this is the one glimpse of it. Sorry, one glimpse of it that you see when he is just the guy who is trying to live a normal life, you know? And that's interesting.
Yeah, I always like the type of movie where a guy has a fucked up past, but he's just a normal, no, I'm just a normal guy, you know, and he's trying to live that lie, like History of Violence. Another movie we're reviewing that isn't John Wick today, but I like that kind of, you know, story trope. So this is Movie Club. We're going to spoil the whole movie. We're going to get into the plot synopsis. We're just going to sum it up, and then we're going to give our reviews at the end. If you haven't seen John Wick, you may want to come back to this later. You may want to turn this off, go watch the movie, and then come back and get our take on it.
Totally.
Yeah, so we'll get into it. We've already started kind of talking about it, but the movie opens. John Wick has a wife, and she's terminally ill. I don't remember what she was sick with. Did they ever say what her illness was?
Oh, I can't remember.
I don't know. I thought it was cancer, but I just
I thought that too.
made that assumption.
Well,
I don't really
they
know.
never specify, so you could think it's something sad like cancer, or you can think she's dying from some sort of like funny illness.
The funny one.
Rare, you know, like
whatever the funny one is.
yeah, so like a clown sprayed her with seltzer water, but the seltzer water was toxic or something. You know,
Farted to death.
they never go into it. I'm sorry, what was that?
Farted to death.
Farted to death. She's like, John, the doctor told me if I fart one more time, I'm dead. Oh no.
Could happen.
It could have, you know.
Hopefully not to you.
The movie doesn't have to be depressing. You're up to your own headcanon. But she does pass away. And this is bizarre. Yeah, I've never heard of this happening. I don't know if this happens in real life, but she arranged in life for a puppy to be delivered to John Wick the day she died.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching this movie and I was like, this has to be like a couple of weeks or past. Like this whole puppy story. She died. He gets the puppy. But then I looked up a plot synopsis. It was like, no, this all happens in one day.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I'm like, yeah, I guess they don't fade. They don't imply.
Well, they have the funeral, right?
Much time has passed.
It could have been that she died that day. It had to be like they had the funeral.
Okay, you're right. She dies. They have the funeral. But it could be he goes home from the funeral and the dog is waiting
That is
there.
what I was led to believe. Yes.
Yeah.
Which could be in her will or something. Yeah, she could arrange that.
Sure. Okay. I've never heard of somebody doing that in real life. But I'm not doubting it. Okay. He cries. He gets the dog. He takes the dog for a joyride in his car. Again, this is all happening in one day. Just, all right. And then talk about a bad day, right? You just buried your wife. Then you receive the dog. I guess there's ups and downs. Then he goes to a gas station, and these like Russian gangsters are getting gas at the gas station. Why are they at this gas station? I'm only now thinking. I just finished the movie like half hour
They
ago.
got the lowest price.
I'm only now thinking about why are these Russians?
You got to get gas somewhere, bro.
These guys are
Picking up a rock star
Now,
energy.
Dr. Butthugger is making this point. I did read this in the trivia that this takes in New Jersey, and you don't pump your own gas in New Jersey, as we have talked about before.
yeah, but these are gangsters,
That's
Dr.
what I said.
Butthugger. All throughout the movie, they're skirting the law. Okay,
They got some fucked up gas stations.
dude. We know that the authorities are aware of John Wick and they allow him to do whatever he wants. You think a cop is going to drive past that gas station and be like, oh, John Wick's pumping his own gas. You know, we let him kill people in this town, but I'll be damned if he's going to skirt our gas laws.
Not our gas laws.
This thing is really jammed.
Yeah, I think there's a real bullet.
I can't
lodged
do
in
my
there.
gun bit anymore. Here, I'm going to need... Oh, there we go. All right. See, I am
There
like John
we
Wick.
Yeah,
go.
you're just like John.
Hey, John Wick, pumping your own gas over there? That's how the fourth movie ends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Spoiler alert. These Russian gangsters, they're pumping gas. They see his car. They want his car. They see his puppy. They want his puppy.
Yeah.
And you guys say this movie is, these guys killed his dog. I actually don't think that's what this movie's about at all.
Go ahead.
They call him a bitch in Russian, and they didn't think he spoke Russian. but he did speak Russian, and I think that's actually the start of this whole conflict.
So you think the fact that if you have just like drove off with that, not saying anything back to them in Russian,
If they didn't exchange the B word to each other, I'm not saying who's at fault because there were, parties on both sides said the B word to each other. The gangsters called him a bitch, and he called them a bitch back
John
in
Wick
Russian.
was just minding his own business, getting his own gas, and these people came up to him, and no, I can't. John Wick's not to blame here.
Okay, live edition of Movie Club. We have an audience here. Do Flamingo Snail Phone says you guys got to see the sequels. Did they go into the bitch?
No, they don't go into that.
Well, maybe that's what the fourth movie is about.
Still called The Bitch Is Back.
Let's review the tapes, John Wick. 10 years ago, gas station footage. And that's what it's all about. Anyways, they want his car. They want his dog. They exchange the B word. He drives off, and I really thought this next scene was going to play into the movie hardcore. He takes his dog to like a wet driveway and just starts like doing donuts and shit. And just doing like cool fucking driving stunts with his dog in the car.
Yeah.
That's a way to party with a dog.
I also was like, okay, what are we doing here? I think it makes sense now, looking back on it, why they did that. But at first, I was like, what the fuck is...
Why did he do that?
Well, I think that's just him,
Blowing
living
off
his...
some
Yeah,
steam?
blowing his own steam. Like, he's pissed. He can't go off and kill people like he used to do, but he can still drive around like a crazy person, and they're going to let him do it, so he's just going to vent a little bit.
But he's going to put a puppy in the front seat and then do fucking like burnout donuts.
When you're that...
200 miles.
Who doesn't?
He's fucking like dead stops at a fucking like construction truck, like 3 inches from death with a puppy in the fucking front seat.
Don't condone that part with the dog being in the car,
Kablooey has offered a theory, thanks to our live chat. He's deranged. I didn't consider that. Yeah. John Wick is...
You got to take that into
Wait
account.
a second. Hold on. I'm just now realizing that John Wick is a fucking psychopath. I'm just along for the ride. Like, oh, poor dude. Main character of the movie. I sympathize with this guy.
To be fair, they do call him Baba Yaga. I mean, they give him the name of a monster.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But now that I've had like an hour to process the film, I'm thinking John Wick is not a good role model. He breaks a lot of laws. He kind of plays by his own rules.
Yeah.
Chef Jeff Leg says, only I can kill my dog. That's kind of John Wick's mentality there.
That's a good mentality, I think, for anybody.
That's it. That we call that the old Yeller premise.
Yeah.
You got to do it yourself. That's the only way.
That's still crazy they haven't remade Old Yeller.
There's
no not way crazy. Why would that be crazy?
Just wait.
They got to do. They got to do Old Meower. It's Old Yeller with a cat.
Yeah.
Do it. Flip
update
it. Update it for today. Have like Sydney Sweeney as like the main character, and she's got to shoot a cat.
Because
we'll talk about it.
Because the cat has rabies, and the cat is just a threat to the whole town.
The cat's just an asshole.
The cat doesn't even have rabies.
Because rabies, don't even play that into it. Just be, hey, sometimes the cat's annoying,
Yeah.
You making biscuits, cat? Not on me.
Did you just lick the butter? Yeah. See it, Garfield?
Hey, kitty. I'm a dog person. It's a warning shot.
Yeah.
Because I don't condone animal violence.
Thank you.
I just,
Thank you.
If the shoe fits. But, whatever. We all have our take on it.
Well, speaking of animal violence, let's get back to John Wick.
Yes.
So John Wick goes home after the stunt show.
The venting. He's
the
feeling
venting,
better.
blowing off some steam. He goes home that night. They cut out the scene where he jerks off. If you
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, if you're blowing off steam, go home and we're going to see Keanu rub one out. That's not in the film. So if you're expecting that movie, it doesn't happen.
Has there been any movie in recent years where there's a serious movie where there's a jerk off scene?
There's gotta be.
You know what I mean? Like comedies, they're doing but what's a serious movie with a jerk off?
We got a live audience here, so we're going to source this one out to the chat. What is a serious dramatic movie that involves?
They're saying The Whale, but I haven't
masturbation?
seen it.
Oh, The Whale! I haven't seen it. Oh, guys, you just spoiled The Whale.
Johnny. Hey, does Brendan Fraser spank it in The Whale?
Is there someone jerk off in The Whale?
Opening
opening. Okay, so I didn't spoil the end.
I gotta go see this.
I was worried that was going to be the
Thanks,
finish to the movie.
Johnny said it's the opening scene. So parents, leave the kids at home.
Dude, I wish we thought of that, man.
when you go see the whale.
Hey, the only other movie I could think of, serious movie with a jerk off, it was also in the opening. It was End of Evangelion, but we don't need to even go back there.
And some people are saying perhaps Jarhead.
Jarhead, yeah. What does he put in that jar? I'm afraid to ask.
All right.
All right, so John Wick is at home. He's sleeping, and he like hears a noise. I don't know if he's sleeping, but he's at home that night. And he goes downstairs, and there are these masked intruders in his house, and they hit him with a baseball bat. This is crazy, man. They kill his dog. They steal his car, and they leave him for dead.
Now, killing the dog, that was rough to see. It was rough.
Yeah.
This scene makes total sense to me until you watch the rest of the movie and then think that baseball bat wouldn't have. He would have killed those guys in 0.2 seconds. You know,
They had the element of surprise.
they did have that.
He's been out of practice
He wasn't
for
ready.
6 years.
He was not ready.
Yeah.
But I mean, after now I know what he's capable of. Before I knew what he's capable of. Yeah, he's fucked up. But now it's like, I don't think so.
You read military books going back to ancient history, and smaller armies have defeated bigger armies. The element of surprise. It's the ambush.
Yeah.
They don't see it coming. You can get over on somebody like John Wick, but they should have killed him because that's where they messed up.
That is a fucking problem. The next scene
Something
is
to say?
Oh.
No. I thought they handled the dog killing the best way they could.
There was one detail though that fucked me up with
yeah.
that dog thing. And it was just the trail of blood to John Wick. Like the dog dying crawled his way to lay next to him and it's like they didn't show that, but the trail of blood makes you assume that's what happened.
Sure.
And that was fucked, dude.
I
that was rough.
assumed actually that the gangsters moved the dog to taunt him.
You think that's what it was?
Yeah.
I think that they did that they moved the dog.
I hope that's the case.
Because my mind did not go to where yours did.
I saw that trail of blood. I'm like, oh no, that poor dog was just trying to get. Oh no, it was so sad.
Well, yeah. That's why John Wick's got to get revenge.
Yeah.
John Wick is basically living your typical country song at this point. Lost my lady, lost my dog, oh by golly, lost my car.
Yeah.
You know,
Classic blues song, you know.
I'm just trying to think of like, kick a man when he's down. What else can you do? I mean, short of like fucking giving him a nut shot, which they basically did. I mean, they hit him with a baseball bat. What's worse? Masked guys hit you in the head with a baseball bat or kick you in the balls?
Baseball bat in the head.
Yeah, you might have brain damage. But, if I get hit in the balls
Testicle
that hard,
damage.
Yeah, but then what's going to
Yeah.
happen? Oh, you can't have kids. I don't want that shit. Anyway. They're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
they're
yeah.
gonna
For
fuck
me
with
at
my
this point, I
Nintendo.
don't need them anymore. Get them rid of them.
Gemma in the chat that say balls grow back. You're right.
That's
I
true.
didn't think
You
about
didn't consider that.
Trust me.
Hey,
I
you
can
only
make
get
them- I
one
can
brain,
make them
but you have
grow
two
back.
balls. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, brain. I want to keep that shit. I got a lot of good memories.
Moving on. Where are we?
They take the car into the garage. John Leguizamo all of a sudden shows up.
I love
Yeah.
John Leguizamo.
Me too. I was
Me
happy
too.
to see him.
Always glad to see him.
And this to me is when the movie really, like, obviously it kicks off here, but when he sees the level of fear when they say, like, where'd you get that car? Like, he knows,
Yeah.
like, oh, this is so fucked. You just fucked up so hard. That's when I was like, oh, this is like, I don't know. I didn't know what they thought John Wick was yet. Is it going to be a story where it's a guy who has to learn to fight to avenge his dog? Or, they cut all of that bullshit.
Yeah.
I just love that it was just like, you fucked up, get out of my garage,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of corny, but it's good character. It's quick character development. There's basically a series of scenes where people are just like, what the fuck's going on? They say two words, John Wick. And everybody's like, oh shit. And it's just that over it. And like it just goes up the line.
Yeah.
John Leguizamo
Yeah.
beats up this guy. It's, by the way, it's played by the actor who played Theon Greyjoy.
Yes.
In Game
Yeah.
of Thrones.
Yes.
He is the Russian gangster who killed the dog and stole the car.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the son of a mob boss in this movie. And so John Leguizamo like punches him. He's like, get the fuck out of my shop. This guy's dad calls up John Leguizamo. I hear you attacked my son.
Which I think in a normal circumstance would be death for John Leguizamo. Like, you can't just punch this guy's kid in the face or you're going to be killed. But this was the one pass.
Movie logic. I don't know how the real mafia works, but I'm assuming, you're probably right. But then he says he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog. And the mafia boss is just like, okay, all right.
You should have hit him.
Yeah, and then he contacts his son, he beats up his own son and explains to him that John Wick is like the most badass killer of all time. That he used to work for the mafia. He wanted to get out of the business to fall in love. The mob boss gave him an impossible task, and by golly, he did it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's out of the business, but you just killed him. You just killed his dog. You just stole his car. You fucked up.
And I mentioned before how a lot of times I'll use Neo as a reference. They're telling you the story and you're explaining things through Neo. I like that they do that here to the villain. Like the guy who killed the dog, you get the backstory to who John Wick is that way, as opposed to another way that they did it. I thought that was a fun way to do it.
Yeah.
Kaiser Shogun in the live audience says it's almost Homeric. Yeah, this plays like a Greek tragedy. This is like a classic storytelling. Mm-hmm. Actually, to its credit, this movie, I feel like, just does have a solid 3-act structure. It's pretty standard A to B to C. And I like that. I like that it doesn't try to break the mold. It just tries to do the mold well. This movie just feels like, in Rocco, I don't know if you know the backstory of who made this movie, but wasn't it just like a bunch of guys who are just stuntmen generally?
It is directed by the guy who was Keanu's stunt double in all the Matrix movies.
He's the director.
He directed this.
I think he did write it too.
He helmed this whole thing. I'm not sure.
No, Derek Kolstad. No, it's not the same guy. No.
But this guy Chad. By the way, Chad came back for the 4th Matrix movie as Trinity's fake husband. She's like, "Oh, I'm married to this guy Chad."
Oh.
And she literally name drops him his real name, and he's like, "Hi," kind of, which I thought was a great gag. She's not with Neo; she's with his stunt double.
That's a good gag.
Kind of an insider gag on that one.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
But anyway, yeah, this movie was really just made by the stunt crew from those movies and other things too. And Keanu essentially did them a favor. Like he kind of wasn't doing anything at the time.
Yeah.
And they were like, "We want to make this movie, don't have a lot of money." And he's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I love you guys." Huh. Keanu has always been, from everything I've heard, very, very, he's really, really...
He's a real one.
He's a real one, but very, very kind to stunt and effects teams.
Yeah, that's true.
And so when the stunt people, after all those years, were like, "You want to do another thing?" He was like, "I got you. What are we doing?"
I read that he trained for 4 months to get this movie right.
Yeah.
Just to get ready for the movie.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Well, it shows that they have a passion for action sequences and a good understanding of just how basic movies work, storytelling, and how to entertain people for an hour and a half. I think this movie is like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
It's fucking...
Dear Lord.
90 minutes plus 10. Every movie these days is like 2 hours and 24 minutes. I appreciate something that could just tell a 3-act story in a short amount of time.
And it's not even to me a matter of like, "Oh, I don't have time. Make it short." I'm not even talking about that. I just think I'm at a point where I'm more impressed by your movie if you can do the whole thing in that. You know what I mean? I just feel like everyone has been given, because of streaming or because of this or that. I feel like, it comes and goes, but I feel like right now we're in another patch of movies where they're all 3 hours plus.
Yeah.
And to me, if you can do like, you had a whole fucking adventure in 90 minutes, to me, that's like, oh, you got talent. You could, you know what I mean? I just feel like that's where I'm at right now, So yeah, that's good on them. They didn't feel the need to overblow it.
Can you imagine if this movie had another hour to it? That would have fucking killed the movie for me. It does not need that. Yep, you're right.
So John Wick is a badass.
So we find out. So we learn.
We've spent so much of this podcast just getting to this point in the movie. John Wick is a badass. Now everybody knows John Wick is a badass. Now this kid knows who he's fucked with. His dad, the Russian mob boss, basically says, I'm going to put you in a protective inner circle and I'm going to hire assassins to stop John Wick because I know he's coming for you. John Wick takes a sledgehammer to his floor and pulls out his old bag of tricks. Literally like a suitcase full of guns.
Goodies.
Yeah, his goodies. He's got a bunch of gold coins in
but
there.
you don't know what those are, but it's cool. It's something.
I felt like the gold coins were pretty straightforward. They were like gold.
To me,
I was like, he's going to need money to do all this crazy fucking shit.
But those gold coins, and they show it in this movie, but they show it more in the other movies,
Yeah.
really aren't just gold. It's like the assassin's currency. You know, it's like they don't get paid in money. They get paid in those things.
Yeah. I figured, at this point, I think I'm finished the movie about 40 minutes ago. I figured those gold coins are probably worth like $100,000 each. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
You know, it's like one gold coin per dead body you got to clean up. He offers a gold coin to guy, do a favor, you want to earn a gold coin. You know, here's $100K.
Yeah.
10 of those gold coins is $1 million.
Which, you know, you see in his little briefcase, he has it seems like an infinite supply of these gold coins. Like he has the most of the gold coins.
He's got, you know, they're almost like poker chips.
Yeah.
You got you see a stack of me and this, me and that. Yeah. If 10 of them are $1 million, shit, dude. It's like million, it's like 3 million, 6, 12. He's probably got 24 or $30 million worth of gold in that little suitcase. That's what my brain is calculating. I bet if you're John Wick and you have $30 million worth of gold and a gun, you could take down the Russian mafia. That's basically what this movie's about. Yeah. So he checks into this hotel, an assassin's hotel.
Well, really quick, before that, don't the people come into his house
Right. Yeah.
to stop him or to kill him before he gets the revenge? But those fucking idiots.
Yeah, he pulls out his bag of tricks, but they send this whole team of assassins to kill him. He takes them all out one by one. Then we see, that he kind of has this phone number. He's like, oh, I need 12 dinner reservations. And people will come up to his house and clean up the dead bodies.
When the cops showed up, because I was like, the neighbor's going to call the cops on this. Like, it's so loud. There's going to be an issue. The cops show up, and then it's like when you kind of get more of a mystery where it's like the cop is like, oh, you're working again? And it's like, oh, he doesn't give a fuck that he just killed these people. Like, he's just... Oh, what is this fucking world?
You know, so I feel like when it comes to the world building, what I like about this movie is it is very, what is the word? It's like technical world building. It's like stuff that is useful in the moment. They don't world build on dumb shit that is not relevant. Like, you know, there's no scene where some hooded leader of the assassins calls and just has a conversation to just arbitrarily let you know that there's some even bigger boss down the road. It's all stuff like this guy just fucking shot 12 people in his house. So that's going to make a lot of noise. Yeah. And also, how's he going to get rid of these dead bodies? And in the next scene, the cops show up. And it's like, well, the cops are aware of who John Wick is, so that solves that problem. And then he calls people to clean up the bodies, and they take care of it, so that solves that problem. Yeah. And it's very much like you're a normal person watching this, and you just have questions. Like, oh, if this guy's a professional hitman, they just attacked him at his house, so where's he going to stay now? Oh, there's a hotel for hitmen who are, it's like a safe house. Oh, okay. Well, why can't a normal person just check into this hotel? Oh, you got to use those stupid gold coins to get in there.
Right.
So it's very useful information.
Yeah. It's always, to me, the example is always for, it's like Star Wars, the first Star Wars. If that existed by itself in a vacuum, does that really well. It's like, oh, I feel a presence I haven't felt since, and they don't say. And then, what's he brings up the Clone Wars. What's that? You get these little breadcrumbs of, oh, there's a whole realized thing beneath the, you don't necessarily have all the exposition. Maybe you don't need it, but I love a movie that has
But
that.
even, sorry, not to cut you off, because I hear you want to say something. With the Star Wars reference, it's like, how'd you know my father or whatever? We fought in the Clone Wars. And it's basically we're just old war buddies. And they move on because that serves the purpose of that scene.
Of that moment.
That answers the question of how you know my dad.
Yeah.
The later movies are like, well, let's take that little conversation piece and you build a whole story about that.
Sure.
That is cool if you're a big Star Wars fan, but
it's not the same thing.
Some of it's just a little bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
Well, I was in that hotel. and that the whole Hitman world to me reminded me a lot of Harry Potter in the sense of like there's wizards and there's
Me
muggles.
too,
The muggles don't know anything about the wizards. The wizards know about both, but like the muggles will walk past that building not knowing is even a thing, whereas the wizards would go into that building. And it's kind of like that to me where it's like,
all right, real question though.
Yes.
For real.
Yeah.
Who would win in a fight, Harry Potter or John Wick?
John Wick. Easy.
Harry Potter has a wand.
John Wick's got those guns. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, he would get Harry Potter before he even could pick up the wand, though.
Wait, Harry Potter.
He would have stabbed the wand through his hand.
Harry Potter fans, aren't there spells that like neutralize guns, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm sure.
You can't use a gun on a wizard. So what are you going to do now?
Yeah, I don't know.
John Wick has to get close enough to Harry Potter to do all that kung fu shit, but Harry Potter could be like, Levioso, Expelliarmus, and just fucking blast him away.
Yeah.
Okay, Zingo says John Wick would snipe him from a mile away, but I don't know. Harry Potter would use the remember all, and John Wick would be like, "Oh wait, I know where Yosef is," before he even, it's a coin toss.
He'd be like, "You're the one who died."
That's the movie I want to see. Yeah, dude, he shoots a bullet at Harry Potter, bounces off the fucking chosen kid, comes back, kills John Wick.
Oh shit. Now we know.
All right, well, listen, we're not going to spoil the entire film.
Sure we are.
You can watch John Wick for yourself. We'll kind of like speed through because this is the story part of the movie, and then it just kind of gets into these cool action scenes.
I would say 90% of this movie is action scenes, 10% world building. That's kind of how I feel about it. So yeah, there's a lot, and I thought the action overall is like really good. It's like super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, considering this movie was made by stuntmen with not a ton of money, I think the production's pretty impressive.
All right. Hold on real quick, because Frank the Tank in the chat is saying all John Wick needs is a pencil in regards to killing Harry Potter.
That's what I'm saying.
So you
Kill him
think
with his
John
own
Wick?
wand.
All right, I just want to set the stage here. Harry Potter is in Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Safely in House Gryffindor.
Yeah.
John Wick has to make his way to Hogwarts and infiltrate the castle.
Yeah.
And then take on Harry Potter. That's a lot of fighting. I don't know. It's
John
John Wick versus like all of House Gryffindor, fucking Dumbledore.
Just give them a couple number twos.
You got now the Hogwarts castle and all that shit. They got a bunch of old books, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Oh fuck.
Some of these later movies, you see what he does with some books.
Fuck that, dude. Fuck that scene.
This is the book series I want. I don't even want this to be a movie. This is like 5 books by itself. He finds out he's hunting down Yosef, the son of this mob boss, and he finds out he's hanging out at this club called Red Circle, which is like this awesome bathhouse, nightclub, gangster hideout. He fights his way into this place. It's badass. He fights his way out of this place. It's badass.
Yeah.
He is that Kevin Nash
Yes.
working the door? I
That was
thought that was Kevin Nash.
That I thought was a really great gag in this movie. That it didn't even hit me as a great gag the first time I saw it. When I watched it again, it was like, oh yeah, he walks up to the door and it's Kevin Nash, the fucking wrestler. It's like, oh, throwdown about to happen, and it's kind of like, okay, you need to go in there. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also
Like they just breezed
There's
past
something
that.
where he asked like, lose weight, and he said he's like, yeah, I lost 60 pounds, but I guess he kills 60 guards in this thing.
Yeah.
So that's why at the end John Wick doesn't kill him, is because he gave him the information he needed or whatever is what I read. Like he told him like in that moment he was telling him like there's 60 people in there, just so you know.
Yeah.
That you're gonna have to kill.
Maybe. I wonder. I didn't recognize him as Kevin Nash because he had gained weight from the last movie. The last movie I saw him in was like Magic Mike. He's in
was
that,
he
and
in
he's
that?
very
I
like
forgot.
svelte and like ripped in that movie. So
Last time I saw him in a movie was Dead or Alive. They did a live action version of the fighting game Dead or Alive, and he played bass. I forgot how you say his name, but he was excellent casting.
I love Kevin Nash. He's fucking awesome. He also had a Russian accent in this, so I was like, that's not Kevin Nash. He can't pull off a Russian accent. So kudos on him because he fooled me. Yosef gets away, and John Wick returns to the hotel. Another character in this movie is Willem Dafoe, who is another hitman who's hired to kill John Wick. he ends up helping John Wick. And I was never quite sure if he was just helping him because he wanted to save the kill for himself or if he was helping him because he's legitimately a friend of his.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the movie, it comes out like they are friends, but you still can never be sure. In the world of assassins, you never know.
I also really like how all the assassins are so polite to each other. They're also like matter of fact and like nice, but
business
like
courtesy.
It's all business.
It's all
exactly.
code.
That's all it is business.
Yeah.
So in the hotel, he narrowly escapes being taken out by rival assassins.
Which you're not allowed to do that in the hotel.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll have you know.
In fighting with them, he gets some information about the mob boss. He fights his way into this mob boss's front, which is this church that is actually a front for a vault where he keeps all his riches, his secret stash. John Wick fights his way in there, burns the secret stash. He's really fucking this mob boss's day up.
Yeah.
And then the mob boss tracks him down. I'm trying to remember how he captures John Wick. I'm trying to remember how that happens.
Well, now I'm getting John Wick 2 and 3 stuck in my head, so I'm also not going to be able to help you remember here.
Do you remember how he captures John Wick? I finished the movie about 50 minutes ago, and I can't remember this
God damn
exact
it.
detail.
I knew, but I really wanted to watch the other ones, but I knew it was going to fuck me in this moment.
Oh, he hits him with a van. That's right.
Yeah.
It's a car chase. John Wick
that's
finds
right.
out where this guy is. He starts attacking him, chasing him. This big car chase breaks out. But the mob boss actually is able to get the upper hand. Captures John Wick. Takes him, there's always this moment in action movies where like all is lost. The hero is like captured by the bad guys, and it's like John Wick's darkest hour. You think he's totally failed. Looking down here to see if there's any water. I'm getting parched from talking so much. Woo!
I think you have a water right here. Right behind
yours?
Nah, I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll be fine. Like in most action movies. Actually, now I'm thinking about this. Why do they always fucking do this in action movies? They had John Wick captured.
Yeah.
And you're the fucking mob boss. Like, just fucking blow his brains
he
out.
walks out of the room like, all right, goodbye, John Wick.
Just fucking blow his brain. What? Listen. Why do movie villains have this adversity to just killing the main character? If you want to kill this guy, kill him. I've already seen you kill. You literally killed a priest. The scene before this, you shot this guy in the head on the streets, openly in the streets of San Francisco, or wherever the fuck this movie takes place. You have no problem murdering people in plain sight, but then it's like, John Wick, I'm going to kill you. Take care of him, boys. I'm out of here. And then he walks away, and guess what? John Wick fights his way out of the situation.
Sure does. With a little help from Willem Dafoe, right?
With a little help from his friends. They should have used the Beatles song in this movie.
At
They
least
should've,
once.
Yeah.
I get by with a little
I know the
help
budget was
from
small,
my
but you could afford that.
friends. You get somebody to cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he fights his way out. Willem Dafoe helps him. Yeah, he fights his way out.
I have it right here. If you want.
I remember. He basically tracks the guy down again. He, fucks his day up once more, tracks him down, like crashes into him, gets on top of his car, points a gun at him, has him dead to rights, like kills the shit out of all his guys.
Yeah.
And then is like, tell me where your son is or I will kill you right now. And so the guy gives up his son. John Wick goes, he's like, I'll tell you where he is, but they know you're coming. He's like, it won't matter. Once again, John Wick goes to a place, wipes everybody out. Kills Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then it's an action movie, man. It's like so many of these scenes blend together as far as like locations, and the plot really doesn't matter. Like why they go from this warehouse to that warehouse, why they go from this parking lot to this parking garage, to this hotel, to this safe house. Because all of these places are just locations for cool action and gunfights and fistfights and car stunts to unfold.
Yeah.
After he kills the kid, the mob boss takes his revenge out on Willem Dafoe because he's like, I know you helped John Wick. I fucking know you did it. I hired you to kill him, but you didn't kill him. And now my son's dead. So he tortures him. Then he calls John Wick to let him know, I killed your friend. Why would you even
Bad
do
move.
like
Bad fucking move.
you're fucking asking for it,
That's the
bro?
problem.
Fuck around and find out. So John Wick literally like is driving home like, job well done. I'm just going to go back to being a random guy. Maybe I'll even adopt a new dog. Oh, phone call. We killed your friend. U-turn. And the movie continues. So he goes and he tracks down this guy and he fucking kills him. Why'd you place that? That's like ordering a fucking death delivered to your door. Hey, John Wick delivery service, can you come and fucking murder me in 45 minutes? Thanks, I'll be waiting for you.
Oh, hi, Uber Eats. Yeah, bring me my sandwich. I will have a knife, and I will fight you when you get here. You're just letting them prepare.
I don't want to. I'm watching the show Yellowstone. I don't know if you're ever going to see it. I don't want to spoil us.
I'm going to watch that soon.
Are you really?
Yes.
No, he's not.
I was. No, I really was. I'm not joking.
Well, there's one. This isn't a spoiler, but there's one line where like these people keep fucking with Kevin Costner, as they do a lot in the show. But
just like in Waterworld, dude.
His son at one point goes like, "Do you not know who my family is?" Because it's like, what are you?
Yeah.
Why are you poking this bear?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? There's no. Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
Dude, they like. It's literally like John Wick just killed my son. I'm gonna kill his best friend and call him up and taunt him. That's what I'm gonna do. That sounds like a good plan for me to do right now. So it ends in like a fist fight in the rain on top of a roof.
Yeah.
Somehow between the main guys. Very cliche. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't care. At this point I was in. I don't care.
John Wick fucking stabs the dude, and then I finished the movie.
He gets a new dog.
Yeah. Oh, he steals a dog.
Well, it's a rescue.
They're like fighting in some the animals are there. Is this a shelter? Is this a laboratory? I don't know.
I don't know what it is either, but he saves that dog.
He steals a dog. So at the end of the day, John Wick is net negative karma. He does end it on a crime. Mm-hmm. All of the murders were arguably justifiable, but he did steal that dog.
Yeah, that ain't cool.
With no remorse or explanation.
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
So that's not right. And I'm assuming, and I haven't seen John Wick 2, but I'm assuming the owner of that dog is now looking for him.
That would have been sick. That's not correct.
It's the dude from Taken.
Yeah, it's Liam Neeson. You took my dog.
You took my puppy. And I will find you, and I will kill you.
I don't know what John Wick 2, 3, and 4
I hope you have treats.
Are about, but if it's not him fighting Harry Potter and fighting Liam Neeson from Taken and battling over control of that dog, they drop the fucking ball.
It's not.
They drop the fucking ball.
Yeah. Well, that's John Wick 1.
And that's the one we're reviewing today. We just summed it up.
Yeah.
Sean, you picked this movie. So
I did.
Any final thoughts before you review it?
My final thought, I loved this movie. I thought it was super fun.
Okay.
The story, there is a story there, and as I said before, I think that the little world building they did with that hotel and the rules and the assassins and like need a reservation for a party of 12 or whatever, all that stuff was fucking great, and I ate that all up. So as I said, I watched the second one the night after because I liked it so much. So I will give this a solid 4 shakers for me.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm getting back into my David Burns persona, everybody.
How many popcorn shakes?
How many popcorn shakes for John Wick?
This is not my flavoring.
This is not my bullets. By the way, somebody said in Gun Kata, if you jab the gun forward as you shoot it, remember the scene where he had the knife and he was struggling to stab the guy and the guy was like, no, don't stab me. And John Wick was like,
Yeah.
and stabbed him. Well, it could have been the same thing if he pushed the bullets forward as he shot
that'd
them.
be cool.
That's just standard gun kata. We got to watch Equilibrium, I think, at some point for Mega64 Movie Club. I think we got to see a little more gun kata on the show.
I'd rather watch the next John Wick. I'm going to give it 3 shakers, but a solid 3 shakers.
Will you watch the second one, you think?
Solid 3. Yeah, I would definitely watch the second one. The only reason I'm not giving it a 5 is because it's not a perfect movie.
Okay.
I mean, you can say that about a lot of
yeah,
movies.
sure. That's why I didn't give a lot of movies 5.
It's like a great action movie. If you like Jane Austen films, this movie's not going to be for you. I don't think it's required viewing to watch this film. If you never watched John Wick, you still have a nice life.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving it a 4 because it was a little kind of formulaic.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did the formula really well. But at the end of the day, it was like, that was very straightforward action movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For better or for worse, they stuck to a formula.
Yeah.
And they really knocked it out, but it was a formula. And that to me is why it's like a very solid 3. Hell yeah.
Someone in the chat prohibited just kind of said it. And this is what I was going to say is, I do think it's less it being for people that really connected with this movie. I think it's less that it's, whoa, mind blowing, and more that it was a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hadn't seen Keanu in a long time, and it's very no bullshit. It's the camera's on a fucking tripod in a lot of the fights. You could see him do his shit.
Yeah, and as Castle G Skull says, it was filmed so much damn better than most modern action movies, which I agree with. No shaky camera bullshit. It was just showing you.
The fact that a bunch of stunt guys made it and they did it right. It just felt like refreshing, I think. And, it was like, there was just no bones about it.
Yeah,
That's what it
I don't
was.
know. I feel like John Wick is most modern action. I feel like what other action movies are coming out?
Sure.
Well, I'm just thinking
right now. John Wick is it.
Well, I'm saying like all the superhero fighting bullshit, like that to me is like, that's
CG,
the action that really exists that I see.
Shit. Yeah.
In the 90s, dude, I loved action movies, by the way. Like shitty action movies, anything with Dolph Lundgren and a fucking machine gun, I was there.
But yeah.
This feels kind of like the spiritual successor to those films.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're into this shit, you're going to eat this up. If you're not, move on, take the next movie.
I remember it wasn't even that long ago I saw Total Recall for the first time. And I remember, and I fucking love that movie now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that blew my doors off. But I remember how refreshing that felt seeing it. I don't know. Again, maybe 5 years ago and seeing, again, the camera's locked while Arnold picks up this dude and throws him and then hits this guy and does this other guy. And I'm like, they're just keeping the camera in one spot and you see it all unfold. Sometimes that's just a good feeling.
There's a couple, speaking of Total Recall as an action movie, and we got to get your review in a second. Total Recall will do these things with like the fat woman suit and then it opens up and Arnold's inside.
Yeah.
And it was, like a misdirection.
Yeah.
Or the thing where he has the tracker and he has to pull it out from his nose. Those are the type of scenes where it's like, that's where it transcends. Like, this is not your run-of-the-mill action movie.
Yeah.
Those are some standalone, like, I'll always remember this movie for those moments. And I wish John Wick had some more, like, just an element of weirdness.
I agree.
For me, that's a very Derek Acosta criticism. I would love if John Wick was just fucking weirder.
Yes.
Then I would add another star to it.
Mm-hmm. See, I felt like 2 and 3 had a little more of that.
Okay.
And some would argue they go a little too off the deep end.
That's me. I like 2 a lot. I'm not really that into 3 right now.
I liked each one more than the last one because this one, for some reason, just doesn't stoke me.
So what's your review then of this?
I would give it a 2.
Wow. 2?
This movie just doesn't inspire me really on any level, but I give it a lot of credit because I think it's awesome that these stunt guys made this movie and got Keanu to do it. That's where I give it props. But I never really understood its appeal past like that. Like it just doesn't have to me enough that I'm thinking about when it's over. I'm just like, man, those stunt guys did a good job. 2 and 3 are fucking Looney Tunes. And I thought even that added something to it.
I will say
they do have the sequel problem where they keep feeling like they have to go bigger.
Yeah.
But they go so down the rabbit hole on the organizations that he's part of and the world that they're in that I at least to me, that's something. This didn't have enough for me to think about it that much. I don't know. What were you saying?
What was I going to say? I forgot. You said something and I forgot. I just was listening to you. It's a good point. This is what I was going to say. I liked this movie a lot. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
Even as the action sequences were super cool and well done, but I feel like I absorbed them in one viewing. There's nothing I need to go back action scene wise and be like, I gotta see that again.
I think you're right. I don't know if I would. I mean, I just watched them, but I have no desire to go watch 1 and 2 again. Okay. I don't.
All right.
But I'm going to see 4. So,
Yeah,
keep making them. I'll keep going.
I kind of felt like I really liked 3, actually, and I really enjoyed it. But when it got to the end and I'm like, oh, they're just doing a 4th one, I kind of was like,
okay.
For
at
me,
some point, you got to stop.
The 3rd one, and I know we're not talking about that, but the 3rd one is like they keep doing the same. Like I know it's in our fight scene. I know.
But I feel like that's the first one. Like, I just feel like it's a series of fight scenes.
I mean, that's what they all are, which is
Well,
fine. But
I didn't feel like it was a series of fight scenes. I felt like John Wick had these goals. Like he had to find who took his car.
Yeah.
Then he found out who it was. Then he had to find out where that person was.
Yeah.
So then he got that information. Then he had to
Yeah.
go kill that person. He failed in doing that. It was
Yeah.
very like goal based. I didn't feel like it was just, oh, here comes another fight. It was like, all right, this is how he's going to achieve this goal.
Yeah.
So I liked it on that level.
I guess how over the top the 2 and 3 are, I just want to say, like, I do think there's a lot of like, whether it's like, okay, maybe too far, there's a lot of imagination in coming up with the sequences. And I think that was just making me go like, damn, wow,
Okay.
you did all this.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's pretty much it, I think.
Well, on that note, then, I would like to say what we're going to be watching next week. That's right.
Lion King.
Da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to be watching the blockbuster hailed in over 65 different countries. Da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum. We're going to be watching RRR.
oh,
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Woo! Anybody out there who's seen RRR is probably jumping for joy. I know I've been excited to show these guys this movie. It's 3 hours long.
okay.
I've watched it twice,
Oh, wow.
and I'll watch it a third time for
Holy
next week's
jeez.
episode because I'm not going to give you my review of this movie, but it's definitely worth watching. I'm excited to see what you guys think of this movie.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching Movie Club. Go watch RRR, and we'll see you next week with our thoughts on it. Oh, yes?
Yeah, 3-hour movies are back on the table, it sounds like.
Oh,
so I got
come
some
on.
cooked up, too. Get ready.
Okay.
Get ready for that.
All right. Well,
XXX.
good. With Vin Diesel. Goodbye.